money them a tea. And them a sell out to the can't for me again. You can't for me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy candle, we can't buy time. You can't for me again. Can't for me again. You can't for me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch a line and a resort to crime. You can't for me again. Come me setting up all the charities and all of the giver. Some a go like say them powerful, me no make a bigger. The other the promises none of them not deliver. Cut up the youth and rough and it's going in our river. Them a bold money and they lie them them. Corruption smell and they pocket them smell. When police don't a market like Satan out of hell go mash up people start and thief when them sell. Keep on me. What they treat the market man. Keep on me. What them a treat the cat man. Keep on me. What they treat the peanut man. Keep on me. What them a treat the dirt man. Keep on me. What them a treat the sun man. Keep on me.
Stibbidim day, stibbidim day, stibbidim day. We in Global TV says certain kind of friend we no cape. And some informer friend we love lake. We in Global, bona fake friend and bona tape. We in Global, we not promote them, we not support them. Look at them on a cheek, come here represent for. We in Global TV, check it.
Corruption is a vile disease that sucks and drains the health out of something good. Corruption in society is an evil moral infection that keeps community in a state of perpetual sickness. Corruption is a moral virus. It's so potent it leaves its host sick, lethargic, and unable to realize and accomplish all that a well person can. Where corruption thrives, poverty and not prosperity thrives. Wealth is grabbed into the greedy, grubby hands of those who get fat on the toil and labor of good people. Corruption benefits, only temporarily, those who participate in it. Everyone else is a victim of the theft, the deceit, the dishonesty, and the lies that corruption feeds on. You need to know that a corrupt person is stealing from you. Corruption is filthy work and despicable acts of treachery done under the table and behind closed doors. Corruption is a disgusting shame. Corruption keeps a nation back from true development and from progress. Wise investors steer clear of a corrupt environment. They would rather put their resources into a place where the playing field of opportunity is equal for all and not bent towards feeding the financial lust of corrupt, lying, cheating, thieving politicians and government officials. How many wonderful development projects have been lost because the investors didn't want to do business in a swamp of evil? When those great projects go to another nation or to some other place, we all lose. Believe me when I tell you that corruption steals from you, it steals from all of us. Corruption plunders the nation's wealth. Corrupt people compromise on truth, equity, and fairness, choosing instead to feed off the short-term benefits of crookedness, exploitation, and financial perversion. Corruption is not just a personal matter. It's a culture. It's a way of life, not just for individual people, but for companies, communities, governments, and nations. Corrupt nations, hiding behind large companies, will seek to invest in other weak nations in order to take over the assets of the nation that they've invested into. They will provide financial loans to a nation for the much-needed infrastructure, and they will do it with assets that they provide. They will sign contracts by lining the pockets of rotten government officials who participate in this kind of corruption and are then held hostage by their own deceit and greed. Corruption is nothing less than a form of theft and national robbery. A corrupt person steals from everyone in society.
I truly believe our political system needs some fixing. Too much you hear about corrupt politicians and nothing happen. Too much you hear about politicians who take away poor people money and none of them reach in jail. And to the young people at home or wherever you are, and to all Jamaicans, I have one question for you. Take a look at your communities. Take a look at the sliding dollar. Take a look at the failing healthcare and ask yourselves, Where is the progress? Where is the progress that this arrogant and disrespectful government keeps talking about? With this existing callous government, matters have gone from bad to worse.
This is Global TV election campaign coverage. This is Global TV election campaign coverage. This is Global TV election campaign coverage.
Good night and welcome to Horse and Cart Politics. But you would think that it is the horse that would be pulling the cart. But this time it's rather the other way around. We are 6 days from an election. We're yet to have a manifesto to debate and to see what policies and what promises that we'll be having from local government in order to democratically participate and give our vote at the polls in the next few days. Never have I seen it before, an election campaign in full swing and no manifesto to debate. Good evening and welcome to Global Television. Thank you all for joining us. Thanks to those on the X, those on Twitch, on Facebook, and on YouTube. Good evening and welcome to Global Television. Good evening to everyone on the live. Good evening to everyone in the chat. Welcome to our Manifesto Roundtable Talk. Have you shared the live yet? Have you liked the live? Have you shared it to your Facebook page? Have you shared it to your WhatsApp group to let everybody know, particularly those in Jamaica who will be going to the poll? Let us have our Manifesto Roundtable Talk tonight because they have not given us one. So let us have our Manifesto Roundtable Talk tonight. People of Jamaica, come on here tonight and tell us, what are you expecting from your local government? What would you want them to be doing for your community? I would be really interested if the people of Jamaica could jump on the link tonight in the top of the chat. The link is pinned. The link is pinned for us to have our roundtable manifesto talk. And this is the night for Jamaicans. If you want a manifesto to vote on, if you want to hear what the People's National Party have for you, if you want to hear what the Jamaica Labour Party have for you, they have not tell you yet. So you come on here tonight and tell them what you would want from them in your community. Never have I seen this before. An election campaign in full swing and no manifesto. But particularly to the People's National Party, you should be swinging and waving your manifesto out there with a failed government over 8 years. With so much failures, the People's National Party should already have a manifesto ready to push up in the public's face to say that we are ready. And these are the things that they have failed you on. These are the things that they have failed you on. And these are the things that we will be doing for you to make sure the services that you ought to be receiving in your community, you are receiving them. Good evening, and welcome. Thank you all for joining us. This evening is not an evening where I want to do the talking. I want particularly the people of Jamaica who will be going to the poll to come and tell us, what do you want from your politicians? Good evening to Patricia Matthews. Good evening and welcome. Good evening to Curtly Conscious. Good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining us. Sunshine, good evening and welcome. Good evening, Debbie Jervis. Good evening and welcome. Michelle Lewis Wilson Godgift. Good evening and welcome. Natalia Freeman, good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining us. Good evening, all. Good evening, sunshine. Good evening and welcome. Good evening, Cynthia B. Good evening and welcome. Sharon Powell. Good evening and welcome. Shauna Smith. Good evening and welcome. Yvonne Green. Good evening and welcome. Stacy, good evening and welcome. Thank you all for joining us. Anthony R., how are you? Good evening and welcome. Thank you all for joining us. Lorna Emery, good evening and welcome. Sean L. Williams, good evening and welcome. Thank you all for joining us. Good evening. Lorna Emery, good evening. Good evening. Carla Humphreys, good evening and welcome. Delroy Henry, good evening and welcome. Cousin Myrna, good evening and welcome. How are you? Good evening. Good evening. Good evening and welcome. Shauna Smith, good evening and welcome. Good evening to everyone. Good evening and welcome to Global Television tonight. In the top of your YouTube chat, the link is pinned for tonight's roundtable. You don't have to turn your camera on, nor do you have to put your name in. Precious Allen, good evening. But this evening is an appeal particularly to the people of Jamaica who will be going to the poll. What do you want from your politicians? What has not been done in your community? What are the pressing issues in your community? What are the forgotten and the forsaken issues in your community that you have been badging away at with your politicians for the last 50 years to no avail? How is your water supply, your street lighting? What is the cemeteries like in your division? What is the general infrastructure in your community? What is the economy of your community? How is the market in your community? How is the drains and gullies in your community? What do you want to hear from your politician? Prof. Gorgeous Lady, good evening and welcome. What do you want to hear from your politician? Or do you just go and do the normal vote on party line and tribalism, Butuism and tribalism? Lilith Foster, good evening and welcome. Or is it just the normal way? They don't have to say anything because regardless of what they say, we're going to vote based on Butuism and tribalism. We are going to vote on Butuism and tribalism. Mary Messenger, good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining us. Cousin Jamie, good evening and welcome. Diane Campbell, good evening and welcome. Sim, good evening and welcome. Beat and Teach, Wagwan, Minnesota, but Wagwan, veteran. Good evening and welcome. Sister Faith, Brother Roger, good evening. How are you all doing? Good evening and welcome. Thank you all for joining us. But is it just voting Butu politics and tribalism politics? So we don't really need a manifesto from them. We don't really need them to do anything for our community. Because regardless, no matter how horrible they perform, no matter how much they fail on their promises, no matter how they violate their own laws, we are still going to vote for them because it's Butu politics and tribal politics. So join me this evening. Join me this evening and let us talk about our politics. No manifesto, no vote. No manifesto, no vote. Charlotte Walker, good evening and welcome. No manifesto, no vote. But call the careless Rasta them. Call the Judas and Jezebels of the Rastafarian community. Rebel with a cause. Good evening and welcome. Call the commercial Judases and Jezebel of the Rastafarian community. Call the dunce Rasta who doesn't understand their history nor their culture. Call them. Call the sellout tight jeans Rasta them. Novlet Blake, good evening and welcome. Call the bowcat Rasta them. The Jezebels and Judases. The Rastafarian movement who only commercialize. The commercial Rastas who only commercialize black struggle but has not done anything for the upliftment of black people. Of course, a lot of music sound good. The truth is to be said. Uno music sound good. And uno music sound soothing to the spirit. A lot of uno. But behind that, what is there? A bunch of sellout Judas and commercial Jezebels. That's what all of you are. The Queen Eye Freakers, the Tony Rebels, the Badman Gangster, Sizzla Kalonji, under the rap, with a violent attitude. Forever Young, good evening and welcome. But call the dunce Rasta them, the commercial tight jeans Rasta them. How Rasta and capitalism get in the same bed? Ask yourself. Or is it that they don't understand what they're supporting? These dunce Rasta like Sizzla Kalonji, the dunce Rasta like Tony Rebel, the dunce Rasta like Queen Ifrica, the dunce Rasta like Capleton. Do they understand their history and their culture? You see, most of these Rasta, why they are so dunce, is because rather than they stay in a class, them out to do a play marble or a rundown pig. On the out to do a play marble and a rundown pig. So no come out of school like barking fools. And when you're ready to enforce on the philosophy upon people, when you pick up the same white man book, then preach about anti-oppression, and then pick up the same white man book to lecture us with a twisted ideology of don't understand most of the time we want to talk about. Go and pick up a book. Someone not dunce Rasta. Go and pick up a book and know what you're supporting. Good night and welcome, Winston Gibbs. How can you call yourself a Pan-Africanist? How can you call yourself a black liberation, as somebody in the black liberation movement? Then you have gone into bed with a capitalist party, a party created by the CIA to counter social democracy in Jamaica. And this is the party that the Rastafarian community think they should have gone in bed with. And them then think they should have credibility to come and tell any of us about history and culture and black liberation and black struggle. All are not just pure dunce, bowcat, pork eating, map head Rasta. All of your commercial, with the exception of Buju Banton and Muta Baruka, I wouldn't touch most of you with a pinch of salt other than the sound good music we want to sing. Because other than the sound good music, Brittany Lyon, good evening and welcome. Other than the sound good music, with the rest of the commercial Rastafarian community, like sellout Tony Rebel, sellout Ifrica, sellout Sizzla Kalonji, sellout Capleton. Is it just that they are so commercial that they can turn a blind eye to the struggle and gone in bed with a party created by the CIA to further oppress black people in Jamaica? Like, seriously? And you all want us to take you all serious? Or you all just dunce? Or is it that you all just a sellout? Cheap commercial gem? Who goes wherever the money flows? Anybody can turn on around and skin on out and bend on over because it's all about commercial. With the exception of Buju Banton and Muta Baruka, the rest of you are a bunch of fake commercial Judases and Prof. Gorgeous Lady, I'm doing it a different way. The phone doesn't work well for me when I do the phone calling. You, the audience, does not hear well. So what is happening in the roundtable talk tonight is at the top of your YouTube chat. The link is pinned there where you can enter the studio and have your say. You don't have to type your real name in, nor do you have to turn your camera on. So that's the way for people to come in and make their views tonight by just hitting the link in the top of your chat. It will ask you to give access to your mic and camera. Then once you do that, it will ask you to put in a display name. You can just type in anything. And then you enter studio and you can have your say via that way. Your views comes out much clearer to the public then because you're coming to the studio. But when I do it via the phone call, it really doesn't come out well to the audience. So if anyone is interested in having a view, you can come via the studio. Just hit the link in the top of the chat, and that will take you straight into the studio where you can have your views. Brittany Line, good evening, and welcome. So if you're interested in have a view, that's how to do it tonight. So yes, them tight pants, hug up Vaz, hug up Anne-Marie and Darrell Vaz, hug up Wholeness, hug up the Jamaica Labour Party, which has always been oppressing the Rastafarian community. And to me, not so nice. I mean, never go to university to go study. Me never go there to go to teaching, allow me go study. So me normally go there did figure thief and swindle out money out of people pocket, but me choose not to practice. So me not have to walk and thief from poor people in order to further oppress them. But a lot of these entertainers, particularly the Rastas, in bed with a lot of politicians, Cesar Kalonji and Juliet Holness, them are friends. The whole of them are clique. The Labour Party has always been oppressing the Rastafarian community. Because me not so nice, go and listen to Jamaica Carlos show this evening. The headline is Rasta and the JLP. You will find it. Carlos gave the historical context because me not so nice. Me just want to rub them. Carlos gave the historical context. So if you want the historical context of why these Rastas look like utter fools and butus partnering with the Jamaica Labour Party, go and watch. Send me a photograph of you, Prof. Gorgeous Lady, and I will, if you want me to, I will do a birthday shout out for you. Election day, wow. They are in bed with these people. So if you want the context of the Jamaica Labour Party and the Rastafarian community, big up and welcome Carlos. Go and listen to Carlos' show this evening that he did in relation to the Rasta and Jamaica Labour Party from Bustamante, come right down to the crooked, corrupt, and Jehovah's. So either them are dunce, Judas and Jezebels are sellout. Of course, yes, Sizzler big JLP long time. The dunce Sizzler, I don't know if you just call him Sosa Sizzler. The dunce Nyampoke, Bowcat, Raphead, Violent Boy Sizzler. Where everything Sizzler want to control by violence and damn shit. Because who upon no think Sizzler a peaceful Rasta. Who no don't know say a gangster and Dan man. We have up a bad man round him. Who no can come shoot me, you know. Who no can come do anything you no want with me. Because you know say me not afraid for dead. You understand? But a holy pound thing to say, Sizzler nice somebody. I hope I don't get confused by the nice song. But then so when you're in your sad time, your nice time, you listen to the rhythm. But when you're in your sad time, you listen to the music. The wording. JP, good evening and welcome. Sizzler them, don't take them as they come. As some violent thugs. Most of them Rasta man as well, want to know about them, a big obia work of them. Just like how you see the politician them work obia for control, you know? Just like how you see the politician work obia for keep them one another. A same way in the Rastafarian community. When you see the big obia work, I got tackle sheet tonight. So when you know me don't normally trouble vloggers. It's not what I do. I don't get involved in vlogging. In troubling people who vlog. But you see the failed Jezebel. Yes. The failed Jezebel in the reggae area. We count on social media, Obia Oman. Yes, divine, prophetess divine, Obia Walker, Ask Capleton and divine them about one another. A long time the whole of them are rub St. Mary Road together. Yes, Capleton and divine them. A long time the whole of them are Obia Walker. It's a battle between the Rastafarian community and who can walk more Obia than one another. The Rastafarian community is divided just like the religious community. Just like in a religion, you have Anglican, Catholic. In a Christianity, you have Anglican, you have Catholic, you have Methodist, you have Adventist, you have in a Rasta, you have International World Federation, you have Bobo Shanti, you have Bobo Shanti, you have one whole heap of different sect of them. And the whole of them is in a power struggle and a power battle over which of the organization within the Rastafarian patch of duns, wolves, are the more supreme. This is why I don't say Sizzler Kalanja use bad man to take over Bobo Hill and give title unto him Bowcat self. Unto him Bowcat criminal self. What Sizzler don't deserve are entitled to. But if you don't like up the live, me I go on my bed because me can't sit down and just attack someone and I like the live. But these the Bowcat Rastas. People will stop follow them and think they have influence or they're under any authority to speak to us about culture. Which one are no cultured? Pork nyamin in a night, boy. Nyam pork a night, boy. Which one are no have culture? Tight pants, boy. Joint contract with Babylon and Rome and Buckingham, boy. Who not talking? Dunce, boy. Dunce Rasta, boy. And dunce Rasta girls. Who not talking? You can't lecture with. Uno never go to school. If uno did go to school, uno that understand. Under no circumstances, the Jamaica Labour Party and the Rastafarian community can never be friends and cannot work together, not in Jamaica. Pauline Dixon Dawkins, good evening and welcome. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Don't take no influence from none of these bowcat. If you enjoy their music, enjoy it. But don't take no influence from them. The whole of them are commercial jet. You see no Rasta stand up for nothing in Jamaica. Looking at COVID, how easy it was for whole heap of them bow. Look how quick Fantana Moja bow. You see none of them can hold out. How much on the Rasta take the vaccine? You see none of them can hold out. All of them commercial. Them are bow cats. I don't know. There are people don't like to share our life, my life. Sizzler, Capleton, Tony Rebel, Queen Africa, the whole of them are bowcat. Now listen to them. The whole of them sell out to the Jamaica Labour Party. Sophie Bell Henry, good evening and welcome. The whole of them sell out to the Jamaica Labour Party. Can you believe a party that was designed by the system that you call Babylonianism? That party that was designed by that Babylonian system. D.I.E. the jerk world, manners and respect, bro. How are you? That party, that party that was designed by what you, the Dunce Rastafarian community, the Bowcat Rastafarians, the Rastafarian boy, them what did play marble when school are gone. The Rasta boy, them what they out to do a run down and a play with pig while school are gone and never learn anything about their history or their culture. You all can't lecture us because you're wrapped up in the bed with your enemy. You're wrapped up in bed with capitalism. You're wrapped up in bed with the oppressor. You have joined a contract to keep the sleep. You no can't lecture with Dunce Rasta boy them where they pass political stage. I wrap up with the Jamaica Labour Party and I dance up and I wind up with old master and him pick them to oppress Jamaica people. If you understand your history and know the creation of the Jamaica Labour Party, Uno, maphead boy. Uno, raphead boy. Go put on frack like pastor. Rasta boy. Bowcats. And come on lecture like on the liberation struggle. Liberation struggle where? On the a commercial gain. And with the exception of Buju as well. On a dirty Rasta boy and girl, keep far off Maroon Town and Chief Curry. The whole of prostitutes and sellouts and bowcats and all that one can think of. And one come on stage, come play like anybody and nobody for take advice and instruction from follow philosophy and idea. Who not talk to? Dunce. One can pick up something and read. Pamela McNeil, good evening and welcome. One can pick up something and read. With the exception of Buju Banton, Winston, and Muta Baruka, the whole of them is a big old dirty piece of fallacy. Cynthia B, sorry. Cynthia B, good evening and welcome. A long time I not see Joan Brown. What Joan Brown? The Joan Brown must have worked. With the exception of Buju Banton and Muta Baruka, I wouldn't waste time listening to any of these mophead commercial enterprise because all they use the black struggle to do is to make commercial gains off us. That's all they use the black struggle to do for their commercial gain, on a popular dunce. Popular dunce. Dunce celebrity. Popular dunce. But Global TV will take a break. And when we come back, we hope that you will be ready to join the Manifesto Roundtable Talk.
Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. Hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't fool me again.
What people do eat no money, what people at you, eat no at you. Covid money, miss you, we eat the your little rat you. Use the youth, them money, waste no must a man to statue. Say me like a catch you, but bigger than a figure you. Take this print of money, girl, and say that it's not you. One day, the man above him, look him, I got up. Too much eat in the kitchen, some of fly well like a pot too. When singers and DJs and social media's coming at you.
It burn me.
300% raise.
It burn me.
Garbage pile of the day.
It burn me.
Give the teacher them raise.
It burn me.
I see corruption face.
It burn me.
Mash down the people them house.
It burn me.
Every day appear arms out.
It burn me.
Appear money them a thief.
It burn me.
And them a sell out the beach.
Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't fool me again.
For me say dig up all the charities and all of the giver. Some a go like say them powerful, me no make a bigger. The 100 the promises, none of them not deliver. Cut up the youth, they rap and they down in a whatever. Member bold money and they lie them tell. Corruption smell and they pocket them swell. When police don't a market like Satan out of hell, go mash up people start and thief when them sell.
It burn me.
On they treat the market man.
It burn me.
On them a treat the cat man.
Welcome to Soap Bubble Politics, because the reality is that is all that Jamaicans will have to vote for come this election. Soap bubble policy. Because literally at this point, at having no manifesto from either party, it's literally no more than soap bubble that we will be voting for. So welcome to Soap Bubble Politics. Please join us to share your views this evening and what do you want from your politicians in this soap bubble politics? Because we are yet to have a manifesto. And if we do not get one, then literally we'll be going for the soap bubble. So let us have that conversation this evening. John Brown, I was calling you just now. Good evening and welcome. Let us have that conversation, the soap bubble politics conversation, the missing manifesto. The missing manifesto, you could understand why a crooked, failed government after 8 years is bobbing and waving what lies to come and tell you. But then you would rather think that a slow-moving snail of a leader of the opposition and his local team would have had a well-crafted policy to drum into the head of the undecided voters to say, this is what we want to do for your community. To the young voters who are not in tribal politics, what is the People's National Party message to them? We know the Jamaica Labour Party is going to come and tell them a lot of lies. But to the People's National Party, what is your politics? What is your message to the people who are going to vote for the very first time in our country? And as I said this morning to Lisa Hannah, if you are gone, Mickey and gone, enough of the fashion show at this stage of our politics, Lisa Hannah. Enough of the fashion show. If you want to go and enter Miss World, Lisa Hanna, or you want to go on the front page of Vogue, please apply. But enough of that in our politics. I mean, it is your social media page to use it how you want it, but you are using it in a political capacity. So therefore, I can have a say on it. Hurry up and go on. If you go, hurry up and go on, because you really don't. The politics of Southwest St. Andrew, Southeast rather, St. Andrew. The divided politics in the People's National Party. The divided politics, Lisa Hanna, and all of you, in the Southeast Sentence constituency. If you are going, me dear, hurry up and go on. Hurry up and go on. Because we're not blind. We can't see the wide division between the Golden and the Lisa and the whole of them. There is no form of communication, rapport, interaction with the Golden team and the Lisa team throughout this. It's still a standoff. Not good for the country. Marva Bryce, good evening. Dice, rather. Good evening and welcome. That standoff in the People's National Party. It is doing so much damage, not only to the People's National Party, but to the country at large. What these divided, disgruntled, selfish members of the People's National Party who cannot get over their feelings is throwing the party to the wolves, to create the CIA created institution to continue dominate the people of Jamaica and keep them in their space. And the division of the People's National Party is rather throwing them not just the bone, but with a lot of meat on it. How will the People's National Party revive with that wealth of division? Yvonne Johnson, good evening and welcome. How will the People's National Party survive this division? One PMP, Sophie Henry Bell, good evening, good evening. Bell Henry rather. One PNP, Resistance, Rise, Sharon Powell, good evening and welcome. All of this has created one massive disaster that hands the country to the most crooked set of politicians, to a crooked political party, and to the most crooked set of politicians we have ever seen. And to top that off, you have the dunce Rastafarian community, who was seen by a lot as a guardrail in the struggle for justice and social equality. Look how much of them are winding up on Anne-Marie Vaz. Look how much of them in a Gillette purse, Wholeness back pocket, and Darrell Vaz back pocket. Look how much of them. And then these dunce, mophead boys, tight jeans, sellout, Judas and Jezebel. One come talk to it. When you see the dunce Queen Africa, when you see the dunce Queen Africa turn on her social media, she speak like she have any authority. Or she speak like she know what she's speaking about. Go and pick up a book. Go and pick up a book. Capital dunce in a big letter. Go pick up a book. And stop come out here, come blog based on your feelings. Because if one of they pick up book, Queen Africa, woman beating Tony Rebel, gun waving gangster, Sizzler, and Obia walking Capleton, one would not support the Jamaica Labour Party. One wouldn't support the Jamaica Labour Party, but because you're not qualified big letter dunce, Queen Africa going to pick up a book. When I can tolerate dunce man, I can't tolerate dunce woman. Because I don't use to dunce woman. When I would tolerate dunce man, Queen Africa. When I would tolerate dunce man, I can't tolerate dunce woman. So go pick up a book. And stop come out here, come talk like you have any authority. Or people feel listen to anything what you say. Go and speak to yourself and ask yourself the question, am I even understanding what I'm supporting? Do I know the history of what I'm supporting? You sell out on Jezebel. And then on the same one, we want to come call people sell out. And then on the gone in a bed with the CIA and the Jamaica Labour Party. And we want to come talk to you. Who wanna talk to? Dunce? You think none of these? Hey. You think none of them can talk to me? You think any of these people can talk to me? These never read a full page, never mind a full book. Set of rastas. Commercial Jed. Renter Jed. Colin, good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining us, Colin. Thank you. Make sure you subscribe so whenever time we set our live link, you can get the notification. None of these dunce. No listen to none of these dunce rasta. If you want to enjoy their music, want to listen to them. But don't take no cultural advice or anything from them. None of these rasta are upon the black liberation struggle. The whole of them in a bed with the CIA. The whole of them who used to join the Labour Party, the Sizzler, the Queen Africa, the Tony Rebel, the Capleton, the whole of them. The whole of them is pork eating, run around and play with pig dreads. Yeah? Because if they understand the history of the Jamaica Labour Party when it comes to oppression of black people, if they understand the history of the Jamaica Labour Party and the Rastafarian community, there's no way these capital big letter dunce, these Judas and Jezebel of the black liberation struggle, could have gone in bed with the Jamaica Labour Party, which was created to oppress black people, which was created as a counter, God grant, good evening and welcome, which was created as a counter to social democracy in Jamaica. And these poor great dunce rastas who want to come lecture us for their commercial gain. These dunce rastas who want to come and lecture us for their commercial gains want our ears and want us to listen to them when we know say nothing don't in them brain. Because if there was anything in them brain, under no circumstances, the Jamaica Labour Party and Rastafarians can't work together. And it's the same government cut off Enzinga here. But what me want to do with a map head Rasta boy is just like how Paula tell we say Enzinga sit down and yank out or locks them 1-1. And so when people feel old and sit down and yank out and locks 1-1 because you know I can tell lies. Andrea Chin over Facebook, good evening and welcome. You know I can lie to the people. So I be lie and not tell one China and no locks to get pop out and here. And the thing is, these rastas, they have no shame with it. It's either they're so dunce about it, or they have no shame to have gone in bed with the oppressor and then want to talk about black liberation and want to talk about culture. When some of them don't even want to sleep with black women, when they don't even make me start on commercial Bob Marley tonight. Hmm? Of course, the whole of we like Bob Marley music. And of course, Bob Marley music teach the whole of we or something. He was just a commercial dread like the rest of them. It's why the white man pick him and promote him and never promote Peter Touch. Yes, I'm saying it. It's why the white man choose Bob Marley and promote him and never promote Peter Touch, because Peter Touch was so much of a rebel. And all of the Rasta man them coming at the same Bob Marley pursuit and even Wassara, because them have to sell out Dalton G. Good evening and welcome. Because them have to sell out and play the capitalist game. You see, none of these Rasta have any social democracy alignment to them. They must sell out. They're capitalists. They're there to make a gain off you. The sweet music where them sleep is just a contract to keep the sleep. It's nothing to strengthen you spiritually. It's a dancing feet, keep the sleep thing. Them commercial jet, tight pants, bowcat rasta them depend. They literally doesn't care about the movement. They literally doesn't care about black liberation or black movement. They don't care. It's about money and it's about popularity. Money and popularity. But as I said to you, it's a round table talk tonight. The link is in the top of the chat. You can just hit the link and enter the studio. You don't have to put your name, your real name in, or you don't have to turn the camera on. You can just come on and give your views. Otherwise, I will rip hell out of the bowcat rasta them tonight. Bob Marley is just one of the other. Just one of the other. You did say Bob Marley live when preach. Bob Marley was willing and able to just lay down with anything we bend over or lay down or turn around. The whole of them are commercial jet. If Bob Marley was anything like Peter Touch, him never go get where him get to. It's only because Bob Marley commercial and half white why him really get to where him get. If Bob Marley kept up the struggle like Peter Tosh, him never get anywhere. Me I tell you that. Never get anywhere. All of them are commercial rasta for too long. Them a feed the pan way. And I make money out of it. And people think to say, we to follow them influence or them ideology when them don't even understand. None of these Rasta, other than Muta Baruka and a few of them, real good evening and welcome, good evening. Other than Muta Baruka and Bujo Bantan, I wouldn't waste half an ounce of my time listening to some of them dunce Rasta. I won't. Them are dunce. When you see them attack to you, them pick up the same King James Bible. King James the 6th of Scotland. King James the 6th of Scotland and the 1st of England. God it two kingdom. Before the kingdom solidated itself into the United Kingdom. You had the kingdom of Scotland, you had the kingdom of Ireland, you have the kingdom of England. So King James was King James the 6th of Scotland. The King James Bible want to read. The King James Bible want to read. King James the 6th of Scotland. And he was the same King James the 1st of England. It's a complicated way to explain it, Tono, but One day me will do it because we with the constitutional law have to go through this whole line of kings and queens and the history of them and all this bullshit malarkey. But them dunce rasta you get palm me nerve. Because them talk to you like them have any authority. And them talk like them under a spiritual order. You never listen when they don't Queen Africa talk yet. I mean, I disrespect them as a person. I disrespect them politically. Because anybody know me knows the Queen Africa and Tony Rebel are people who me idolize their music. But me don't take instruction from them. Me love their music, but me don't take instruction from them. Raymond, good evening and welcome. Me love their music, but me don't take instruction from them. Because if you want to take instruction from dunce, it means that you will walk in a fire. Because if dunce tell you, say, walk in a fire go good for you, then you will go walk in a fire because you take instruction from dunce. So even though me love Bob Marley music, and me love Queen Africa, I not listen to Silva Kalanja much because my spirit stay far from the youth there because the youth there is an evil spirit. And that you don't know about Silva Kalanja. It's an evil spirit. Capleton as well. An evil spirit. They never make it obvious working one. Wanna see social media. The Lady Junie. The failed Lady Junie. The new prophetess divine. God, you don't notice that when them drunk prayer, no make it on stage, them running a church. You don't ever notice it. Whether it be Ninja Man, Stitchy Papa San, Lady Junie now turn prophetess divine. We don't notice these whole drunk prayer them a play with on the mind. When you now go wake up to see the mind game, they put to sleep. They keep the sleep contract. When are you all going to wake up to the keep the sleep contract? That a lot of these people who you see as influential sign up. Sign up to put you to sleep while they are earning influences and a lot of money and royalty after the contract to keep you to sleep. How much have you seen the Rastafarian community or those in the entertainment industry done other than Shaggy? Not much of them have done anything to our healthcare or education or local employment in our community. That's correct, Delroy. Listen, you see why black people can't continue to follow these foolishness and this bullshit, Delroy, such as religion and Bible? It's because we simply don't read. A lot of people, when they listen to me, they will think Wayne is ungodly or Wayne is blasphemous or Wayne is mad. Because even sometimes in my family, the Christian bits of my family will categorize me as being barking damn well mad. And hey, Bangara, I really don't mind being mad because look here, everybody afraid of mad people. More if the whole of we didn't get up and mad, barking mad like me, you think government wouldn't play with it? Nobody don't play with mad people. Everybody afraid of mad people. So we all need to start getting crazy. Rock off. Off the rock. I had my orange peel tea done. Me have to go top up the kettle. Off the rock. Crazy. Off the rock. Crazy. One of us stop. Follow these people. Stop follow these people. If them now wake up on a spirit, leave them alone. They are here to make money off you. Nadine Vesson, good. Vincent, good evening. Good evening. No, them a public figure, may I call them name. Look at the name calling, sure they can put your point across. No, may I disrespect them views, them behavior in a certain ways. At times, the people call out them people after what it is. Them a bowcat and pork nyamas and sellout and Judas and Jezebel. You have to call people out for what they are. These people have been capitalizing on the black struggle for too long and has done nothing for the black community to the point where the Rastafarian community, to the point where the Rastafarian community, Nadine, good evening, Everton Morris, can gone into bed with the Jamaica Labour Party, a party created by the CIA to overthrow social democracy in Jamaica, to oppress black people. I'm enough to call them bowcat and pork as marble players and sellouts. That's what they are. And sometimes you have to just be truthful to what you're saying. We don't like mince word on them reason, because this is what they do in their songs and their views and on their altars. Mince word and mislead you. Sometimes call it for what it is. Bowcat, Jezebels, and sellouts. They don't understand their history. They are dunce. Because if people like Queen Africa, Tony Rebel, Sizzler, Capleton, and them like their pickup book, they could have never gone in bed with the Jamaica Labour Party. The Jamaica Labour Party and the Buster, which oppressed Rasta. The Jamaica Labour Party and the Andrew Holness, which conned and oppressed Rasta. The Jamaica Labour Party and the Andrew Holness were cut off Nzinga head. It means that they're capital dunce. Why them gone in a bed with the Jamaica Labour Party rather than standing independent or supporting social democracy? They are to be called out. They have influences. People listen to them. They use their influences to support politicians. Call them dunce if them dunce. Because if them did pick up book and a read, if them did pick up book and a read, they wouldn't come out in a public and make themselves look like fool. Come out here and burning Rome and Babylon. And then you're gone into bed with a party created by Rome and Babylon. Does it really make sense? Go and check who created the Jamaica Labour Party. Created by the CIA and the Americans to counter social democracy and communism and the alignment with Cuba. That was what the Jamaica Labour Party was created for. It was the Jamaica Labour Party and the Buster, Coral Gardens. All sort of oppression the Rastafarian community face when the Jamaica Labour Party is in power. And these same duns, these same marble players when they should be in school, these same boys and girls who out a road that chase pig when they should be in classroom. Want we to listen to them? Are they serious? Are they serious? Oh, fake freaker. Yes, she's a big flip-flopper. She is a big flip-flopper. As I said, other than Bojo and Mota Baruka, I wouldn't listen to a word. I wouldn't listen to a word any of these Rasta said, other than Mota Baruka and Bojo Banton. So, God David, good evening and welcome. Other than Mota Baruka and Bojo Banton, not a pinch of salt I would throw at the rest of them. Look when COVID, how quick, how easy it was for people like Fontana Mojo and them like shift gear and bow commercially just because a packet them couldn't hold out the struggle. How much on a Rasta boy and girl take the joke? How much on a preach against Babylon, Rasta boy and girl take Babylon joke? Because all upon the take Babylon joke. Jamaican food, good evening and welcome. Holy upon the take Babylon joke. To keep on an entertainment visa, isn't it? How much on a Babylon boy take the joke? Don't listen to the rest of them people. It's about time it is said. No listen to them. Them are liar, them are dunce, them are sellout. Other than Muta Baruch and Bojo Bantan, not trust none of them. Other than Muta Baruch and Bojo Bantan, agnostic, good evening and welcome. Other than Muta Baruch and Bojo Bantan, don't trust none of these renter dread. They are for pay. They can be bought and sold. The Rastafarian community can be bought and sold. Do not listen to them. Do not give your influence or time to them. They do not care about you. They do not care about your community. They do not care about the Black liberation struggle. If they do, they would be educating you. They would be educating you rather than pulling a wool over your eye to support a party that has done nothing but destruction to our country over the last 8 years. This particular regime of the Jamaica Labour Party had done nothing but bring destruction to the people of Jamaica. But me I go turn on my kettle, and if nobody decide to engage in the next 15 minutes, I don't know how it go. Because I don't know me not turn out here too long. Let me give you a reminder of your thieving, wicked, liar Prime Minister.
You hear how my voice sound? It sound raspy. This voice is for the ladies.
Straight. My Prime Minister straight.
So all the man them just listen. But my voice is this way because I have been through the nooks and crannies of Jamaica. Reasoning with the people. And there's a lot of talking. Because there are a lot of issues facing Jamaicans in their communities. This election is a local government election. It is not an election to determine who is the Prime Minister and your member of Parliament. It is an election to determine the representatives who have responsibilities for local, municipal, and infrastructure issues. So municipal issues like the garbage collection and infrastructure issues like your local roads, your parish council roads, and your local water supply. That is what this election is about. Because of political desperation and opportunism, such man has tried to turn this into a national election. I don't know the wisdom in that political calculus, because what it has done is to go and stir up Labour Party answers. Because people realize that they have to come out and support their government. Their government is doing well, they understand that. At the national level, they see the change that has happened, the transformation that has happened. The frustration is not at the national level. The frustration, the pain points, is at the local level. The road, your water, your garbage collection, your interaction and interface with the transport system, and your interaction and interface with other public services. That is where the frustration is. So I've spent the last 8 years with the team
making sure that we have a strong economy. No, we're going to make sure that the economy is a caring economy, an economy that deals with the issues that affect you.
We are playing a manifesto game. That was the manifesto of the Jamaica Labour Party. Now we will give you the manifesto for the People's National Party.
Thank you, colleagues, members of the media. Thank you for coming. I won't say much on the throne speech, other than to point out that there was very little new in it. Most of what we've heard are things that we've already heard announced. Clearly, they have a very poor track record of delivering on their promises in the throne speech. In prior years, when it comes to legislation, most of the legislation they commit to in a given year is not delivered, and that indeed was the case for the 2023-24 parliamentary year, which is coming to a close, or has just come to a close, where 90% of what they said they would do, they did not do. There was very little in terms of things to look forward to, and some of the things that they have relied on as achievements really need to be scrutinized carefully, because, for example, the unemployment rate of 4.5% is in the context of over 700,000 Jamaicans being outside of the labor force and therefore not counted in that 4.5% number, of which some 400,000 are adults of working age and are not in work. And this is contributing to the social problems in the society, the worsening poverty, and indeed the crime and violence that has become so prevalent in Jamaica. I'm very concerned on a broader level at the way in which this government has been conducting Parliament. They have done much to reduce the checks and balances that a democracy requires Parliament to play in relation to executive power. For example, we have seen their attempts to defer the tabling of the critical reports from the Integrity Commission and the Auditor General. And this continues to be an issue on which there's significant uncertainty. The legal opinion on which the Speaker has relied from the Attorney General's chambers as to her ruling has not been disclosed to parliamentarians, even though she received it in her capacity as the Speaker of Parliament, and it impacts all parliamentarians, and they ought to have access to it. We have seen the parliamentary committees not functioning well. The Holness administration in 2020 made a decision to abandon the convention that had been established over the two previous governments, both PNP and JLP governments, by appointing now government-side MPs to chair the sessional committees, most of them. And that is a retrograde step as well, and those committees are not functioning effectively. We have seen the Prime Minister impose a gag on his own cabinet on speaking on issues to do with the Integrity Commission. That is unprecedented and is in the context of the annual report of the Integrity Commission last year, which said that there are 6 MPs who are under investigation for illicit enrichment, a serious corruption charge. And this is a cloud over the government's head, which remains unresolved. Most well-thinking Jamaicans know that they know who those persons are, but they, instead of disclosing that to the public and ensuring that those persons recuse themselves from any activities where they may have a conflict of interest if they're under investigation for illicit enrichment, the response of the Prime Minister is to impose a gag order on his cabinet. And indeed, we're presented with a situation where the head of government in Jamaica has statutory declarations which the body responsible for anti-corruption matters has been unable to certify. Not just 1 year, but more than 1 year of those statutory declarations remain uncertified. No satisfactory reason has been given by the Prime Minister for this. And quite frankly, in any self-respecting democratic system, that should disqualify him from putting himself forward for any renewal of office. We have heard nothing from him of any substance as to why his statutory declarations are not certified. And indeed, we're about to have to file again. We're in the filing period now for the 2023 year. And the cloud remains over the Prime Minister for prior years. It's very unsatisfactory. The other thing I would say, that given that the throne speech was delivered in the context of a local government election campaign, there was nothing in it about a new vision for local government. This government has adopted a situation where all powers to do with the funding of local government vested effectively in the minister, who allocates them as and when he feels fit. This is no way to run a local government system. The councils must be empowered by having their funding provided on a timely basis to execute their mandate. And there are other reforms that are required to make the local government system more effective in delivering services to the people. And when we release our manifesto, you will hear what the People's National Party intends to do when we come to government in relation to making local government more.
I'm telling you the problem what happened with Mr. Golden. You remember when the cartel hearing was going on at the Privy Council the other day? A lot of people was confused by ISAT co-counsel when he was presenting the case. It is that similar type of way barristers articulate themselves in front of the Crown. Mr. Golden is in a legal mindset and not a political mindset. I repeat, Mr. Golden, as a legal scholar, he is in a legal mindset and not a political mindset. Hence, even if he's saying something good, it's not gripping, it's not holding on to, because he doesn't have that political demeanor like Portia Simpson or Michael Manley and those other people, or Dr. Phillips. So even if he's saying it, it doesn't cut through. No, work can be done on presentations and articulations. The problem after so long, it's just like it's never going to work with Mark Golden as a politician to see that type of social democracy fire in his belly. And that is one of the biggest problems for Mr. Golden and his beside the division in the People's National Party. Is getting it together, because that leadership quality that not just the party is looking for, that the nation is looking for, the People's National Party grassroots is looking for. The truth is to be said, it's just not shining through. And it is also a burden on the party, not just a burden on the party, it's a burden on the country also. If one is of the view that this corrupt dictatorial regime need to be sent where the sun doesn't shine, then leadership really matters. Not leadership in place, but leadership that is being seen to be leading. But Mark Golden, you must make sure you take the local elections home. If you don't take the local elections home, there won't be any grace period for you. The country needs a balance. The country has no political balance at the moment. There's too much of balance in the hands of crooked and corrupt leader. The crooked and corrupt Jamaica Labour Party regime. There is too much power legislatively and budget-wise given to this government, and something ought to be done. So tonight, you have not joined me, but join me back tomorrow when we will be tying racehorse to the Jamaica Constabulary Force, and we will be dragging them left and right, wherever they end up. Thank you for being here with us tonight in Global TV. It is lovely to have you all as usual. I hope him win Cynthia, because if him don't win, me already put him on notice. He has 72 hours to resign to save a further rebellion and disintegration of the party. So he's on notice to do everything to bring this election home. Otherwise, it will be an onslaught between those of the Jamaica Labour Party. But thank you very much for being here, and come back tomorrow when we will tie racehorse to the Jamaica Constabulary Force, and we will drag them to wherever that horse gets tired. Thank you very much for being here on Global TV tonight. Please be back here tomorrow, and be blessed and be great. Thank you very much.